I heard that you know a lot about Ragtown. How do you know about Ragtown?
I love Ragtown. It's one of my favorite stories because in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, people immigrated here because of the copper industry here. And they came and they didn't have anywhere to live, and they got tents. And they lived in tents, and it was called Ragtown.
Let me get a little bit.
And they thought it was wonderful because they had wonderful jobs with the Utah copper, and they were excited to come to this country. We had so many nationalities. This is where the beautiful thoughts in Magna started, with our unconditional love, loving one another under these poverty conditions. And we're going to actually see Ragtown in a video sometime, and it's very what can I say, very informative of why Magna is such a great town.
Ragtown becomes the first settlement after copper is beginning to be processed. It's a community very much like its names, tents, temporary housing, and it is sort of when they rush to the area. It's not like a gold rush, but the people start arriving and the settlement becomes right on the copper property as Ragtown, kind of a boom town.
And I wanted to start out, a poem that I did write many years ago, and when I discovered it, I feel the same. May I share that with you? I find Magna to be much more than just a place to live. For me, it is a place to learn, to grow, and to give. I know that most people are not judging what I do every day, but instead, they're trying to find their own way. As the years go by, one thing I found for sure, a lot of folks are thinking, our town is very poor. I always love my Magna and the things that I hold dear. The examples set by others, I will forever hold dear. So look beyond the houses and the main street too. What the people in Magna care about is you. Christine, should we go see where Ragtown actually was?
Oh, I would love that, Sylvia.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to follow you out. Let's go see.
This is going to be fun because it's still many traces of Ragtown.
Here are some of the flags I'm showing them, Sylvia.
Oh,
Of
yes.
some of the people who immigrated over.
Yes, many people from Europe came, and they were offered a good job if they came here. But they didn't have housing, so they had the Ragtown tents.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
go see what we can see.
Okay, I'm following you. We're headed out.
Here we are, Christine, where Ragtown was actually in the days of the copper industry booming here. This is where some of the first people from Europe came, right here, and it's just off of Magna, Maine, just a ways down from the museum if you go west. And you can see this terrain here was very inviting because I feel like it was made this way, how it slopes down and the trees here, and then the flat part along here is where their tents were, if you can visualize that. The picture that we saw at the museum was what it looked like, and it was a place for the beginning of so many stories, Christine, could be told from this Ragtown.
Yes.
The people from Europe that suffered to come here, well, that isn't the right word, that gave up their land to come here and to trust in America, and then to come to Magna, Utah, which is now historical for its Main Street. Magna Main Street is a historical preservation by the Daughters of the Pioneers, or whoever it is that does it.
Yes.
And this Ragtown, to me, is so much. It's so much because my family came here early on also. My grandpa Spencer was with the Kennecott. They bought his ranch, and that's where the tailings pond were. or
Oh,
Paintings Pond are.
okay.
So then Ragtown, and so I know that my great-great-grandfather Spencer probably knew some of the people here. And people say, well, why did they have so many taverns and different places like that on Maine? And when you think about it, these workers are coming from Europe, from Ireland, from Germany, and I love it. There was all nationalities. We even have Japanese people in our history here. And it's just unbelievable how they gathered. Italians and Greeks. There's so many wonderful stories to tell here in Ragtown, and then further on developing up to the beautiful home that you will see later up on Magna, Maine by the museum. So visualize here. As we look through this fence, we can only imagine this time of day as the women, the immigrants that have come from Europe and all over countries from there, have come here to join this copper industry here in Magna. This is where their tents were. This was called Ragtown. Can you only imagine the mommy, the lady of the group, is fixing dinner, probably just over a fire out here, and she's fixing food so that when her husband is through working for the Kennecott Copper, the Utah Copper, he will be coming home and having right here on these tents is where they lived. They ate, slept, and drank here when they first came. And I'm very hot. I don't know about Christine, but it's very hot here.
It is
and
hot.
We're thinking about them in their tents and what they're doing. And it's heartwarming to know what they gave up and how they established the unconditional love that we now feel throughout our state and throughout our town of Magna. And it's a beautiful memory for me. I love it with all my heart. I will forever wear my I Love Magna shirt. It means so much to me.
Yes.
And we do have a reputation in Magna. You live in Magna, but the poem that I read, look past the houses in the main street too. What the people in Magna care about is you. And the unconditional love that was shown right here in the very beginning, the sacrifices that were made, touches my heart.
Oh, thank you so much. We are forever grateful for these pioneers.
Yes.
These people who were so brave to come to a new country, start a new craft, and begin brand new at the very bottom, right?
Yes. Yes.
And work
absolutely.
their way up to wonderful homes and a wonderful life.
Yes, and early on it was called Pleasant Green. Magna, our first name, was that. So yes, these people sacrificed, and they made it worth it for them.
Yes, and for the future posterity, we are reaping we're reaping the benefits of what they did in their life.
Absolutely. Well, Christine, I have an unusual thing here that I just found this morning, and I don't know how long I've had this, but this definitely describes my life, why I love Magna.
You do.
I just do, and I've only moved a few blocks away from here, and I'll be here forever.
Thank you.
I'm also being buried in the Pleasant Green Cemetery, so
All
if
right.
anybody wants to look me up, I'll be there someday. Right now I'm 83 and yippee.
Hello, Sylvia. So here we are again at a home that you wanted to show everyone.
I wanted to show this. There's a book called Rags to Riches for Magna, and this is showing what happened after Ragtown began and how the homes were established as people began to gather here and move out here, mostly to join the copper industry. And so this is just another reason, this beautiful home. Look at the lights up here, Christine.
Oh,
get that.
yes.
And this home is beautiful. This is still standing. And this would be one of the very first homes on Magna Main Street. And I just love the beauty of it and the richness and the prosperity that this home shows.
Yes.
From rags to riches.
Yes,
Magna
they
is-
surely worked hard.
Yes, it's just a beautiful history, and we're so proud of it.
And it's right here by the Magna Museum.
Yes, it is.
So that's pretty cool.
I have a little poem about Magna. Don't look at the houses in the main street too. It's the folks in Magna that will welcome you. And it all started with Ragtown as our first little settlement.